Okay, so now that you have read through those letters and you've highlighted possibly some words that you may not be familiar with or that you don't understand in those letters, you're going to raise your hand and I'm just going to make a notation of that so as we're reading, I can be prepared to help you through this. Okay, letter number 1, Wilbur Wright to the Smithsonian Institution. Please tell me what line it is and you can tell me the word or spell it. How many people had questions or any words underlined? Please raise your hand. Okay, ready? Okay, no, raise your hand. 1, 2, Austin, 3, Fox, 4, 5, 6. 1, go. What was your question?
Acrobatic feats.
Okay, tell me what line?
4.
Line 4, the word is acrobatic feats. I believe if you had read further in the next sentence, the context clue is there to reveal itself to you. But that's all right. Number 2?
Line 2, CONSTRUCTED.
Okay, constructed. Thank you. Number 3?
Line 10 and
Accumulation. Okay, accumulation in line 10. Next?
Same thing as him.
What?
Same thing as him. I got the
Thank you. Next? Okay, next. Thank you. All right, well, let's go ahead and listen to this letter. It says, Dear Sirs. Just know, guys, some of this is not grammatically correct, so we're just going to work through it. I have been interested in the problem of mechanical and human flight ever since, as a boy, I constructed a number of bats of various sizes after the story of Callie's and Panard's machines. So constructed means he built them. He made some little paper bats after reading a book. So next to the word constructed, he made it. My observations since have only convinced me more firmly that human flight is possible and practicable. So it's something that's practical. It's something that we can see happening. It's something that's doable. Okay? It is only a question of knowledge and skill, just as in acrobatic feats. Birds are the most perfectly trained gymnasts in the world and are specially fitted for their work. I'm going to stop there because when he refers to birds, and birds when they're flying are able to do acrobatic turns and twists. You know what a gymnast does on a mat where they perform tumbling acts. Well, that's what acrobatic feats mean. Being able to do those gymnastics in the air. Okay? So that would be gymnastics. And it may be that man will never equal them, but no one who has watched a bird chasing an insect or another bird can doubt the feats are performed which require 3 or 4 times the effort required in ordinary flight. I believe that simply flight at least is possible to a man, that the experiments and investigations of a large number of independent workers will result in the accumulation of information and knowledge and skill, which will finally lead to accomplished flight. So he's saying when they do a lot of these types of experiments, they accumulate. They do so many, as they collect and they do so many, that they're going to learn from those experiences and experiments and be able to perfect some form of aeronautics, being able to fly. So accumulate means to collect. Like when snow accumulates here in Brighton, Tennessee, we have a snow day because it accumulates and it goes up on the ground. Does that help? Are there any more questions? Okay, let's take a look at the second letter. Remember, tell me the line and the word. Okay? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lines on this side. Okay? So here we go. Starting at this side of the room, Caroline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If someone else says your word, all you're going to just say this to me, okay? Give me a thumbs up. Let's go. Number 1. Equilibrium. The word is equilibrium. Number 2. What should you do? Oh, sorry. Number 3.
Line 2, Merle.
Merely. Merely. Thank you. 4. 5. 6. 7.
Line 11 deliberately.
Okay. 11 deliberately. Next. 9.
Line 5 descent.
Okay. 10. Okay, 11. Okay, we are good. Let's go ahead and get started on this letter that Wilbur Wright wrote to his father, September 3rd, 1900. I have my machine nearly finished. It is not to have a motor and is not expected to fly in any true sense of the word. My idea is merely to experiment and practice with a view to solving the problem of equilibrium. So his idea is just to experiment, but he uses a more elaborate word and says merely. So above the word merely, you could just write just. My idea is just to experiment. Then it says in solving the problem of equilibrium. When you are not able to be balanced, your equilibrium is off. So when he's trying to do these experiments and he's seeing that whatever he's creating is wobbling, he's wanting to make it to where it's balanced or equal so that flight can take off. So equilibrium would be balance. Balance. I have plans which I hope to find much in advance of my methods tried by previous experimenters. Please follow along while I'm reading because I am going to ask you to interject words in this letter. When once a machine is under proper control, under all what? Conditions, the motor problem will be quickly solved. A failure of motor will then simply mean a slow descent and safe landing instead of a disastrous fall. To descend is to go down. In my experiments, I do not expect to rise many feet from the ground, and in case I am upset, there is nothing but soft and sand to strike on. I do not intend to take dangerous chances, both because I have no wish to get hurt and because a fall would stop by his experimenting, which I would not like at all. The man who wishes to keep at the problem long enough to really learn anything positively cannot take dangerous risks. Carelessness and overconfidence are usually more dangerous than deliberately accepting risks. Deliberately would be doing something on purpose. Okay? When you do something on purpose, you deliberately do it. Right, Jeremiah? Thank you. I am constructing my machine to sustain about 5 times my weight and am testing every piece. I think there is no possible chance of its breaking while in the air. If it is broken, it will be an awkward landing. Turn the page. Raise your hand if you have questions about any of these words at the end of the letter. Raise your hand. All right, well then let's continue on. We have increased our time and length of flight with glider to 43 seconds. Which is 1 2/3 over last year's record and about 3 times the best of anyone else. We will soon have it up to more than a minute as we are now able to remain practically stationary when a suitable wind blows up a good slope. This is something former experimenters were entirely unable to accomplish. So he's just letting his dad know, hey Dad, this is our plan. This is what my brother Orville and I are going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. And, basically, keep us in your prayers. He doesn't want to get hurt. He's not going to take any unnecessary risks. Let's look at the last letter. If you would, please, Jolie. Raise your hand and let me know if you have questions. I would refer to this as the first paragraph, what line, the second paragraph, what line you might have a question on. Raise your hand if you have a question on any of the words contained in the first paragraph. Okay? Raise your hand if you have any questions on any of the words in the second paragraph. Because there are several there that my last class definitely had some questions on. Ready? Nash, you are 1. Caroline, you're 2. Gracie, you're 3. Nash?
Line 5, trifling, whatever that.
Trifling? Trifling, thank you. Line 5. Caroline?
Line 8,
Okay. Okay, remedy? Is that the word, Angel? Okay, good. All right.
I have one.
Yes?
Ample,
Okay. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Line 5, third word, ample. Any other questions about any other words? Okay, let's do this, guys. Please follow along. I will ask you to interject some of the words from this letter to ensure you are following along. Wilbur Wright to his family, December 14th, 1903. We gave machine first trial today with only partial success. The wind was only about 5 miles an hour, so we anticipated difficulty in getting speed enough on our short track, 60 feet, to lift. We took to the hill and after tossing for first whack, which I won, got ready for the start. The wind was a little to one side and the track was not exactly straight downhill, which caused the start to be more difficult than it would have otherwise have been. However, the real what? Trouble, follow along, Cade, was an error in judgment and turning up too suddenly after leaving the track. And as the machine had barely enough speed, enough for support already, this slowed it down so much that before I could correct the error, the machine began to come what?
down.
Yes, though turned up at a big angle. Second paragraph. Toward the end, it began to speed up again, but I was too late, and it struck the ground while moving a little to one side, due to wind and a rather bad start. A few sticks in the front rudder were broken, which will take a day or two to repair, probably. It was a nice, easy landing for the operator. The machinery all works in an entirely satisfactory manner and seems reliable. The power is ample, but for a trifling error due to lack of experience with the machine and this question of final success. So, if the power is ample, so it means it's enough. It's enough. It's good enough. It's ample. It's enough to get the job done. Okay? But for a trifling error. A trifling error would be just a small error. Just a small error. They missed something, Austin. Just a little bit of something. Trifling is a small error. Okay? The strength of the machine is all right. The trouble in the front rudder is being easily remedied. Easily remedied means it's easily fixed. It's easily fixed. We anticipate no further trouble in landings. We'll probably have made another trial before you receive this unless what? Weather is what? Unfavorable. Stay with me. Okay. So this is your charge. I am going to read the note that is bolded at the bottom of the page. It says December 17th, 1903. The Wright brothers flew their machine for 59 seconds, covering 852 feet. This was considered the first successful sustained airplane flight in history. The brothers continued to improve their airplane designs and eventually incorporated the Wright Company in 1909. So they were definitely trailblazers, definitely people who thought outside the box, and look what they were able to
And
accomplish.
they started in 18.
You're going to see a little bit about that in just a second when we watch a video on them. What I'd like you to do right now is turn the paper back over. You have 3 letters there. What I would like you to do is take each letter and you are going to paraphrase what that letter says in one sentence. When you read this, you're going to provide like a quick little summary. You're going to paraphrase that. or the central idea. What's going on in that? Who's talking and what are they talking about? The second one, what's going on here? What are they talking about? So your sentence should be on the back because that's where that second letter ends. And at the bottom, the same thing. What is this last letter talking about? Paraphrase it in your own words. Yes, ma'am.
Aren't there 4 letters? Because one that you're saying continues, one is in 1900.
Oh, it's actually 2 letters to the dad, but there in the text, they're just considering it like just a continuation of a letter to his father. Thank you for clarifying that. So it's really just a continuation of a letter to his dad, just dated a different time. But from what I understand, he sent those at the same time, just had, like he was making anecdotal records of their progress. Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, guys, I'm going to give you about 6 minutes for this. Most students are able to get this done at this time. One sentence, at least 8 to 10 words or so, where you're just paraphrasing what that letter is about. Are you ready, Grace? Do you understand? Okay, great. You may begin.